Do not adjust your TV set. Yes, I'm here on a Friday.
Yeah, it was a special day for The View. They had Whoopi come to work. She's normally off on Fridays. They made Anna put down those 5 chalupas, that feast she was getting ready for. And when Joy found out the news, she said that she was leaking.
What was your reaction?
Well, my reaction was I was at Costco buying, 10 boxes of Keurig coffee, and my watch started to buzz, and I got so excited I started leaking a little bit.
And I really felt and still feel like I'm in a surrealist Fellini movie. Is this really happening? And I was schizophrenic because part of me was like, yay! And part of me was like, you know what, this is really serious. Yay! This is really serious. Now, this is a man, yay! This is a man who made my life a living hell for 4 years, has made the life of our country a living hell for 6 years, and so he deserves to be accountable. He has been Teflon Don his entire life. He has been getting away with cheating and lying and doing things and criminal acts for all this time. You know who's grabbed him back? E. Jean Carroll, Letitia James, and Stormy Daniels.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stormy Daniels, because this has got to have been very, very hard.
Obviously, this was a very special show for them. They don't normally have all 6 co-hosts there at the same time. Whoopi and Anna, they're not usually on the same panel. All of them on board for the discussion as they celebrated the Donald Trump verdict.
Number one, because I've heard and read a lot of this. This was not done by Joe Biden. This is a state prosecution. This is not a political persecution. It is a criminal prosecution. He was indicted by 12 regular New Yorkers in a grand jury. He was convicted by 12 regular New Yorkers who put partisanship aside. What Congress was incapable of doing, the Republicans in Congress were incapable of doing, putting partisanship aside and convicting him in the impeachments, 12 regular New Yorkers did.
Right.
And so I celebrate the rule of law. I respect the verdict. And we have got, if we are a nation of a rule of law, we have got to celebrate what happened yesterday, even if we are against it, which I'm not.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I don't think celebrating, by the way, is ever the answer in any criminal trial. This is a bad situation we're in to have a president, and that's why when he says
I'm celebrating.
I expect that. I would say that when they say no president has ever been on a gag order, yeah, because no president has ever been convicted and charged with a crime. They were never put in that situation by actions of their own choosing. The dangerous thing that's happening right now, and Donald Trump has always done this, it's his one go-to card, as well as the other GOP leaders that are jumping out to defend him. They have to stop sowing distrust in institutions. Yeah. Sometimes you just lose. Sometimes the system is not rigged. It just didn't go in your favor. This is something you have to do with kids all the time. Yeah. The other day there was a fight and I said, no, we're not going there. We don't just assume systems are rigged, and we don't just assume everyone is against us. Yeah. He lost.
So they all went around the table agreeing with the outcome of the Donald Trump trial and gave their opinion on if he's going to jail and how much time he should get when he's sentenced in July.
This is great to see that our justice system can work. It does work, because we haven't seen this for a while, and particularly with him. But, the judge is going to have to sentence him. And one of the things that's been bothering me is I keep hearing all these pundits saying, well, he's a first-time offender, it's not gonna, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, you got 175,000 cases where people are coming for you. So you're not actually a first-time offender. And wouldn't this go to the kind of habits that you have in terms of your rhetoric?
And see, this is why I can't stand watching shows like this on both sides, because people will just make up stuff or change definitions, basically lie to prove a point. A first-time offender is a person who's never been convicted before. Convicted, that's the key word. So yeah, this is Trump's first conviction. Now, that doesn't mean that he won't go to jail, but when you start making up definitions when you don't have to, it's like, what for? Doesn't matter if you're a supporter or not. It's not cool to just go making up stuff.
But I want the judge to give him 6 months. Can I tell you why? And then you tell me everything. I want him to give him 6 months because one of the things that we're hearing from all these young men that we've been talking to is that they love him because he has no consequences. He's a man. They keep talking about how manly he is. He doesn't have to do anything. And I feel like if we are going to treat this man who used to be president, like everybody else. You're convicted of felonies. You got to do a little bit of time, and then you have to say to the judge, you know, I did this, I'm sorry. He has, you know, this is what you would have to do if you were trying to get out. So
Show remorse.
Show remorse.
Can I answer
Yeah,
that question?
baby,
Because,
So lock 'em up,
Because I think it's
basically,
it's a very important point. Judge Merchan has, I think he has really done a good job in terms of keeping that courtroom together. I spent this morning speaking to someone from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. They're called street fighters. He believes that they will recommend a 1-year term in prison. And that is because when you spend a year in prison in New York or under, you serve in Rikers Island. Okay? Also,
I don't think Trump will ever be at Rikers, but if that happened, you know, Secret Service, they gotta go too. So is it really going to be the same Rikers for him, or more like a VIP Rikers? Knowing Trump, he'll probably turn a wing at Rikers into Trump Tower.
I did some research.
Right.
The other thing I'd like to say is the other reason that they will do this is because he has shown an utter disregard for our institutions. Yes. And prosecutors, when you are recommending a sentence, you are not just recommending a sentence so that they can be rehabilitated or so that they can be punished. You're sending a message to the community that this is not going to happen again. Right. This is not okay. The other thing I want to say is that there's another thing that they will likely recommend is a 6-month split. 6 months at Rikers, and then the rest, 5 years, 4.5 years of probation. That is under the New York law.
And 6 months at this table.
Now, and finally, very quickly, when you violate parole, there's something called a VOP, a violation of parole, probation hearing. You have to show up to probation. A man with the temperament of a toddler cannot withstand all of the things that you would have to do to be on probation, and that means he could be sent back.
But can I
Rikers.
mention how just completely uncharted territory we're in right now? Because he does have an appeals process. There's a chance it could be adjudicated before the election. If it's not and he's president-elect, there are a lot of levers of the federal government he could pull to not come to New York, to not extradite himself, and to try to avoid this jail sentence. And I also want to note, because I worked at, but if he avoids coming, who is the Secret Service going to turn him over? There's a lot of scary questions. Also, I worked in the West Wing. To be eligible to work in the West Wing, you have to qualify for a top secret security clearance. Felons can't get top secret security clearances, but they can be presidents of the United States.
Well, here's the thing. You know, one of the things that we have to always remember is the judge, this is at his discretion. He will make this decision.
Yes, it is.
He could say, yeah, you're going to do this, and you're going in tomorrow.
And the sentencing is July 11th, and I think that he has the chutzpah to do that.
Sunny gave her input as the resident lawyer of the show, and it wasn't just The View. All over cable news and social media, you had a lot of people that's against Trump celebrating. Meanwhile, Trump's base seemed to be energized by the conviction. His supporters crashed his campaign website and broke fundraising records. His campaign nearly doubled his single-day fundraising record after a New York jury found Donald Trump guilty. They raised $34.8 million from small dollar donors in less than 7 hours following the historic verdict. Trump is set to face President Joe Biden in November's election in a rematch of their 2020 contest for the White House. And I have to be honest, something tells me the effect the Democrats thought this would have on Trump won't be realized. Some may even argue it may backfire, but hey, we shall see. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Will this historic conviction work in Trump's favor? Will Trump end up winning the election? Or do you think this will help Biden secure the W? Let me know what you think about this below. Shout out to Miss Debbie and Beauty Biz. I appreciate you ladies for your support, as well as Earl, Barrington, and Lamar B. Don't forget that you can support this channel as well. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like and share.